Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news in what could be one of the most surprising and strategic moves of the NFL offseason. Whispers are swirling that the San Francisco 49ers are considering parting ways with one of their most vital defensive players, Fred Warner. Yes, you heard that correctly. The 49ers, a team known for their stout defense and consistent playoff appearances, might be trading away their star linebacker to the Seahawks. And let me tell you, this isn't just any trade rumor. This could be a game changer for Seattle and the entire NFC West. Now, let's break down what this means. The 49ers, sitting at a pretty tight cap situation, just 10-6 but squeezed financially, are reportedly willing to send Warner to Seattle in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026 and a fifth-round pick in 2027. This move is seen as a way for San Francisco to free up around $21 million in cap space, which they could then redirect toward bolstering their offensive line or maybe extending key players like Nick Bosa or their quarterback. For the Seahawks, acquiring Warner would be a massive boost, especially on the defensive side, which has been a bit of a question mark in recent seasons. Fred Warner isn't just any linebacker. He's a true maestro on the field, orchestrating defenses like a seasoned conductor. His ability to read plays, cover tight ends, and make game-changing tackles makes him one of the top linebackers in the league. Over his career, Warner has amassed over 10 tackles, along with 13 interceptions, and his PFF grade of 93. 2 speaks volumes about his consistency and elite play. In 2025, he had a standout season with 138 tackles, 5 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and he allowed just 53% completion rate in coverage, covering 170 yards. His EPA, expected points added, of -0. 17 shows he's a game changer when on the field, even though he missed some time due to a hip injury that limited him to 14 games, an injury that's less severe than the one he dealt with in 2024, where he played 125 snaps. What makes Warner such a perfect fit for the Seahawks? Well, for starters, he's a player at his peak reminiscent of Bobby Wagner in his prime. His coverage grades are plus 22% better than the league average, and he's a run-stopping machine with a grade of 89 in run stops. Seattle has been searching for a linebacker who can elevate their defense, and Warner's addition would be a massive step forward. The Seahawks already have a solid core, but adding Warner's leadership, football IQ, and playmaking ability could push their defense into the top tier of the league. Think about it, projected to record over 135 tackles, Warner would immediately become the leader of the Seahawks linebacker core, boosting their run defense, coverage efficiency, and creating mismatches against tight ends and running backs. From a strategic standpoint, this move makes a ton of sense for Seattle. Their linebacker group has been solid, but could use a dynamic playmaker like Warner to elevate their game. With him, the Seahawks could see their EPA per play and coverage increase by around 12%, and their missed tackles drop by about 13%. Warner's presence on the field would also help contain the newer breed of tight ends, which is crucial given how offenses are evolving in today's NFL. His +6 pass deflections already signal his ability to disrupt passing lanes, and his tackling consistency would make him a nightmare for opponents trying to exploit Seattle's defense. But what about the impact on the NFC West? Well, this is where things get really interesting. The 49ers are a team that's been dominant defensively, but if they lose Warner, it could open the door for the Seahawks to overtake them as the division's top defense. Warner's absence would be felt deeply in San Francisco's linebacker core, and it might even influence their overall team dynamics and success rate. Conversely, for Seattle, adding a player of Warner's caliber could tilt the division's balance. Imagine a Seahawks defense anchored by Warner, paired with their existing stars, and now with a linebacker who can also help in key third-down situations. This could be the missing piece that pushes Seattle into serious playoff contention. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Warner's move to Seattle isn't just about filling a positional need. It's about changing the narrative. The Seahawks have been building a competitive roster, and acquiring a dynamic LB like Warner would send a clear message to the league that they're not just in rebuild mode, they're in win-now mode. His impact would be felt immediately, not only through his tackles and coverage, but also in the locker room, where his leadership and high football IQ would inspire younger players and elevate the entire defense. And if we look at the recent trends, Warner's presence could also influence the Seahawks' chances of making a deep playoff run. His ability to produce positive EPA on pass coverage, combined with his knack for forcing turnovers, like his 5 interceptions in 2025, would be a huge boost in high-stakes games. Seattle's offensive weapons are already potent, but a defense that can reliably get stops and create turnovers often makes the difference in tight matchups. Warner's history of tackling, coverage, and football intelligence makes him a perfect fit for that mold. Of course, skepticism exists. The 49ers are a well-organized franchise that rarely makes moves without a solid plan, and trading away Warner might seem like a risk in terms of team chemistry and on-field production. But with the cap space they'd free up, they could reinvest in other areas or lock down key players long-term. For Seattle, this is a no-brainer. They've needed a true linebacker leader for a while now, and Warner's skill set aligns perfectly with their defensive philosophy. Plus, his ability to match up with the league's most dangerous tight ends and running backs makes him a mismatch nightmare. Looking at the impact from an odds perspective, Warner's addition could also influence Seattle's Super Bowl chances. His presence would boost their defensive metrics, and that translates into better odds of winning big games. Currently, the Seahawks are seen as dark horse contenders by many analysts, but with Warner on board, those odds could improve significantly. He could help Seattle cut down the points allowed per game, improve their third down efficiency, and generate more turnovers, key ingredients for a Super Bowl run. In fact, Warner's arrival could slash their Super Bowl odds from plus 2,200 to roughly plus 1,050, a 52% increase in their chances. That's a huge shift, especially considering how much impact a single player can have in the NFL. His ability to disrupt passing games, combined with his tackling and leadership, could be the X factor that finally gets Seattle over the hump and into the big game again. And there's a bigger narrative here. Warner as a visionary, a dynamic linebacker who could be the cornerstone of Seattle's Super Bowl hopes for years to come. His style of play, his football IQ, and his leadership qualities make him not just a great player, but a potential franchise-changing acquisition. Imagine a Seahawks defense with Warner leading the charge, orchestrating the secondary, and providing that extra edge that separates good teams from great ones. It's a tantalizing possibility that has fans dreaming of another championship parade in Seattle. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what does this all mean for the Seahawks? Well, if the trade goes through, it's a clear sign that Seattle is serious about making a statement this season. They're willing to shake up the roster, invest in their defense, and aim for that elusive Super Bowl title. Warner's addition would not only strengthen their linebacker core, but also serve as a symbol of the team's ambition, bringing in a player who's been a key piece in one of the league's top defenses and making him the centerpiece of Seattle's defensive turnaround. It's also worth noting that Warner's style fits perfectly with the Seahawks' defensive scheme. Pete Carroll has always valued versatile, high-IQ players who can adapt to multiple roles. Warner's ability to cover tight ends, rush the passer on blitzes, and make tackles all over the field makes him a perfect fit. His leadership qualities are also vital. He's the kind of guy who can rally the defense and set the tone for the entire team. If Seattle manages to pull off this trade, it will be a bold move that signals their intent to contend for championships in the near future. Of course, the fans are buzzing. Many are already imagining the explosive plays, the tackles for loss, the interceptions, and the leadership Warner would bring. It would be a true game changer, someone who could elevate the entire defense and push Seattle closer to the top of the NFC. And with the NFC West getting more competitive every year, especially with the emergence of other teams like the Los Angeles Rams and Arizona Cardinals, making bold moves like this could be what sets the Seahawks apart. In conclusion, this potential trade for Fred Warner is more than just a headline. It's a strategic move that could reshape the division. For the Seahawks, it's an opportunity to add a player who is not only a star, but also a true football genius capable of elevating everyone around him. For the 49ers, it's a challenging decision, but one driven by cap considerations and strategic planning. Either way, the NFL offseason just got a whole lot more interesting, and Seahawks fans should be excited about the possibilities this move could bring. The future looks bright, and Warner's potential arrival could be the catalyst that unlocks another Super Bowl chapter for the Seattle Seahawks. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and TO, the Seattle Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news.